Does this side ponytail make me look like Deb from Napoleon Dynamite? Because low-key, I would not be upset with that. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Big City B. I'm B for those of you who are just joining me for the first time. Today's book review is going to be The Fortune Teller by Gwendolyn Womack. Those of you that have been with me for a hot minute know that I read this book back for the Myth Taker Make Your Myth Taker challenge back in the summer. I said I was going to do a review about it then, and I'm finally getting around to it. So let's go into the basics for this book. The genre for this book is going to be historical fiction, mystery, and a sprinkling of magical realism. And I know you're going to say, hold up, B, you just did a book about this with the same kind of genre last week. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you, I know I don't plan out my reviews that well. This was just the next book that I had and remembered and wanted to review. So you could deal with it. There are some trigger warnings, so make sure you check out down below in the description for those. Here's your summary. Disclaimer, I heard at least 3 different ways to say the main character's name, so I'm just gonna say it how I say it, and if I really, mess it up, don't say anything about it. Semele Kavnau appraises antiquities for an exclusive Manhattan auction house. And when she discovers a manuscript written in the time of Cleopatra, she knows it will be the find of her career. But someone wants to interfere, who knows that the manuscript is tied to her, and that it contains a 2,000-year-old secret that they will do anything to possess. Alrighty, jumping into our characters for this book, there are a few of them, so buckle up. For track 1, we have Semele Kavnau, that's the freaking name, I don't know if I'm saying correctly, and Theo Bassard. For track 2, we have Raina, a co-worker at the Manhattan auction house, as well as Cabe, who is also a co-worker, and then we have Nettie, who is a person within the manuscript. For track 3, we have Mikhail, who is the boss / owner of the auction house, Lilia, who is another character within the manuscript, and Dr. Ivanov, who is another character within the manuscript. So jumping into things that I liked about this book. The first thing that I liked about this book was the different timelines that we get to see. Within the manuscript, we go through different stories and different times, and we get to meet historical figures that we've heard about. It was cool. The second thing that I liked about this book was the strong women. Love me some strong women. In this book, the main character is not the strongest woman in the book, but the women within the manuscript are. The main character is struggling to come to terms with herself and how she deals with conflict in her life, but we do see some progress from her over the course of the book. The third thing that I liked about this book was the history behind tarot cards. I didn't know the history behind tarot cards. I didn't know that they were invented, like the tarot deck that we have now was invented in Italy. I thought that was a fun little fact, and that there was like a playing card trend that happened during that time period in Italy. That was really interesting to me. Just something that seems so ordinary today was so you were so cool if you had your own deck that was made specifically for you. I'm rolling this into the third one, but I also liked the different ways that there were to tell the fortunes of others. So whether that be tea leaves or reading seashells or just being able to see into the future like an oracle, it was just really interesting and I enjoyed it a lot. On to the things that I didn't like about this book. The first and only thing that I didn't like about this book was that there's no sequel. I feel like this book ends in such an open way. I'm like, no, what is the rest of the story? I want to know. And it was so interesting, and there was like a love romance aspect that I wanted to know where the heck that was gonna go. It was just I was so mad that it ended and I didn't have another book that I could read to continue the story. So Gwendolyn Womack, write a sequel to this book, please. All right, let's go on over to Goodreads and see what they didn't like about this book. The first thing that Goodreads didn't like was the celebrity pop-ups within the book, such as Cleopatra, Caesar, Rasputin. They just felt like these characters didn't add to the book, and why were they there? I disagree. Of course I do. But I felt like these made the time periods more real for the reader. In all likelihood, the chances of these people interacting with these historical celebrities is probably very slim, but it just connects the reader with that time period since these figures are so well known. And I thought it was interesting to learn a few little tidbits about Cleopatra. Rasputin was a creep, we all knew that, that was no surprise, but I enjoyed it. The second thing that Goodreads liked, you might have deja vu for this one, is that they felt like the story was telling and not showing. This seems to be a theme with books that have some kind of reading element to them. So whether that be the letters from All the Bad Apples, or this one is a manuscript, or I feel like I've read and reviewed other books that also said this critique. Again, in this book, I don't feel like within the manuscript we were being told about things. It was very much, we would start the book in Semele's, I can't with her name. I don't like it. But I felt like we start off the chapters usually in Semele's present, and then she starts the transition into the manuscript. But then once we're in the manuscript, it's all vivid and pictures and what. I didn't feel like the author, I didn't feel like Gwendolyn was just like throwing words at me the whole time. I felt like I was there in the manuscript stories. So, disagree again. The third thing that Goodreads didn't like was that they felt like Semele was a coward and ran away from all of her problems. Yes, I do agree. I think she was cowardly and in a lot of instances was running away from all of her problems, but then we get to the end of the book and that can't be said anymore, because when she's running around with Theo, she's obviously running towards the things she's trying to run away from. And yes, that's not getting to the underlying thing that she's trying to run away from, but that's where I feel like a sequel would come in, where she would really be able to embrace herself fully. Gwendolyn, hint, hint, wink, wink, write a second book, please. Alrighty, let's move on to the quotes for this book. Quote number 1, with the new city comes new life. I love this. I feel like every time you're in a new place, it's a new chance to experience something new about yourself or implement a new part of your life that you've been meaning to put on, and it's great. Love it. Quote number 2, always trust the words that well inside you. The truth is waiting to be heard. Never doubt it. I like this quote because often I feel like we forget or we will hide from the truth within us and try to go against it, and that oftentimes leads to bad choices and disaster. So just listen to yourself, listen to what yourself is telling you, and go for it. Quote number 3, pity your enemy, for hating him will bring only hatred in return. Yeah, I mean, I agree with it, but it's so hard just to not hate people who are your enemy. It's a different mindset you got to get in to pity them for not being able to see your point of view. But then I just get angry at people that they're so stupid that they don't see my point of view. So that's something I can work on. That's a part of me that I'm willing to admit I need to improve upon. Lastly, would I recommend this book? Yes, I again would recommend this book, but just be prepared to have your heart broken that there's no sequel to the book yet. Gwendolyn, write a second book. Maybe if I just put that in this video as many times as possible, it'll reach her and she will write a second book. But I would recommend this book. I thought the jumps between present day and the historical fiction were really great. I felt like the mystery of who was the villain was really good as well, and I did not expect the twist. I kind of expected the twist in like the last 2 chapters, but only when we had met the villain. Before that, I had no freaking idea who it was. Yeah, I would go check this out. I think this is another book that deals with women's stories through history and is interesting, and is also another gateway into easy historical fiction if you're not a huge historical fiction fan to begin with. Alrighty everyone, if you like this video, make sure you go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can know about all of my future videos. Alrighty everyone, that's all I have for you. All the best always. Bye!